This is just like the last, I don't know, 8 or so people.
Tim, it's just Tim. I just read them. He picks them. I don't do much of anything for preparation for this podcast. I sit, I read.
You have really important things to do there. When I interrupted you earlier, you were
shuffling
papers on your desk. Like this. And I was like, you don't got to pretend, man. Just go back to watching your hunt videos if you want.
Those papers were about a big thing in my life coming up. This is a tease.
He's adopting a cat.
Let's see, it's the 17th after the 30th of November, I'll be able to talk about it. But big news.
Embargo.
Yep. Big news in our household. Doing something on my own. I'm getting big. I'm a big boy.
I'm getting big.
Not as in fat. I'm just getting as a big boy, like responsibilities of just me. This segment of DoD TV is brought to you by Leupold, American to the core.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast. If you're counting, this is episode number 236.
We can't count that high. You're Tim Chelswick.
You're Matt Drury.
And this is 100% Wild, brought to you by DeerCast. And your eye is still twitching.
Yeah, it's a lot of late nights. And I'm still waking up early. I don't know why. Like, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning. I got my workout done by 5.
Oh.
Made the kids French toast.
Okay.
I mean,
let's not talk about being an overachiever. I
did my taxes ahead of time.
Milk.
Really? You poured it for them?
No, milked the cow.
Oh, geez.
I got up real early.
It's a cow, right? Not a bull?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. What are we going to cover this week?
We got no guests.
That's why it started out this way.
It's just you and me. But we've got some adventures from the field to talk about.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. Pretty much.
You have had success and failure.
Yeah. So
just had failure.
So that's a tease. Let's shout out our incoming 100% Wild Rack Pack.
I saw somebody getting pretty chippy about it in the Rack Pack.
Yeah. It was like, it was on yesterday. It was like a street fight in there.
He was tagging you.
Man.
If he would have been in front of you, it would have been a finger in the chest kind of a conversation.
What's happening in there, and I like it.
They're getting emboldened.
Meaningless arguments.
Yes.
I love that kind of stuff. And they're trying to set up like a team Matt and a team Tim. What people don't know is there's no daylight between you and I. After this show, we hug. I shouldn't have said that, but it's true.
Sure. No, it's all good. I like the team Matt. Team Matt. Team Matt, team Tim.
Also, there's a Tim. For there to be a team Matt, there has to be a team Tim.
True. Yin it's like yang. Team Mad Dog, Team T-Bird.
Exactly.
It's mostly just Mad Dog, little bit T-Bird. I don't know which one this is.
So what I have to remind myself is like when people listen to the show, and this happens to me, like shows I listen to, you feel like you know these people personally. And so like that getting to know you phase is almost not there because you just launch in with, I know these guys, like very familiar with them.
I see.
And our rack packers are very familiar with us.
Well, there's at least a couple hundred people out there that are out of their mind.
Almost 450 now.
Look at us.
It's crazy.
If we can get to 1,000, then we got 1,000.
I was waiting for the payoff.
It's still not many people.
In the scheme of things, no, it's not. But we've got some people that really want shout outs, and we will not shout out people. We will not be bullied into shout outs.
Lil Curtis, is he in there?
He is in there.
I saw him talking trash on the old Instagrams, tagging us.
Well, he said that they were in the episode 5. I think they had Perry on, the working class on DeerCast.
Yeah,
and they made a reference to Perry being kind of the end of the line for the Mark Drury Deer Camp interviews.
Well, that's true.
Next up is Tim and Matt.
I skipped right over Terry and Forrest, eh?
Right. Who are those guys? But yeah, Dusty Hall and Aaron Merrill were talking about getting shout outs in there. Aaron is one of our DeerCast contributors.
Aaron's the greatest.
And she completed her, I think it's like, they call it the Grand Slam in Maine. If you kill a bear, a moose,
she killed a
turkey,
big old moose this year.
And then a guy in flannel or a whitetail. One of the two. I'm not from Maine.
That's a joke, people. Don't go shooting people in flannel.
But yeah, she got the grand slam out there, so she's legit.
Legit. She's a great rider. She's an awesome asset to have in DeerCast. Great follow.
Yep.
Some cup of coffee.
And a strong cup of coffee.
Strong cup of coffee.
But you and I are not coffee drinkers.
No. Water.
Yep.
Drink a lot of water. How do you think I get this physique?
Is that what they call it? All those chiseled edges.
Easy, fella. I've had personal issues.
I'm big boned. I got the husky thing when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Husky just means you're overall weight. That's all. It's just a nice way of saying that.
Hey, you don't say that.
Y'all don't say that.
I can't find it. Oh, but y'all don't say that.
So the way we do shout outs, the way I do shout outs is I will just go in there and I will grab a scoop of the newer Rack Pack members.
Okay.
I'm not going through and selecting people by height or socioeconomic status.
Okay.
Although I've thought about it.
All right.
This is just like the last, I don't know, 8 or so people.
Tim, it's just Tim. I just read them. He picks them. I don't do much of anything for preparation for this podcast. I sit, I read.
You have really important things to do there. When I interrupted you earlier, you were
shuffling
papers on your desk. Like this. And I was like, you don't got to pretend, man. Just go back to watching your hunt videos if you want.
Those papers were about a big thing in my life coming up. This is a tease.
He's adopting a cat.
Let's see, it's the 17th after the 30th of November, I'll be able to talk about it. But big news.
Embargo.
Yep. Big news in our household. Doing something on my own. I'm getting big. I'm a big boy.
I'm getting big.
Not as in fat. I'm just getting as a big boy, like responsibilities of just me.
Yeah.
And my wife.
That's the most bizarrest way I've heard something described. Gonna be a big boy. I'm gonna be big. I'm getting bigger right now.
It's like a Trump.
Here we go.
It'll be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
Hold on. I got huge.
You just said a lot of words. I'm still not sure what's happening right now.
That's the point. It was a tease.
It's a deep tease.
Jinx.
Coming up.
All right.
So stay tuned. And as always, for a little bit of whimsy, one of these names is not a real name. You can guess.
I already see it.
Which one is not real?
Tyler Black. All right. Caden Greck, Eli Hurst, Andrew Chetney, Kenny Albert, like the baseball player or the announcer? No. Yeah.
That's Marv Albert. I mean,
I'm sure he's got a son named Kenny. There's a Kenny Albert out there somewhere.
Well, he's right here.
Chris Stickles, Tyler Black, and Lord Drinkwater III.
Nope. Try it again.
Lord Lord Dinkwater III.
If this is a real individual, we want to make sure we strive for excellence in communication.
I can't read.
Hold on.
I can't read.
All right.
So the fake name was, of course, Kenny Albert.
My bad.
Yep. And then
I'm looking it up. I'm Googling it right now.
Right.
There's a freaking
you do
famous
some research,
Kenny Albert.
I'll keep the show rolling ahead. Jake Byler on DeerCast regarding the Twitching Eye of Deer season episode, which is last week's episode.
I was right, dude. Kenny Albert is an American sportscaster, the son of legendary NBA sportscaster Marv Albert.
Don't act surprised. Just be like, see, Tim? Should have listened.
I'm shocked at even myself.
Wow. Well, it's crazy because I came up with that as a fake name.
Kenny Albert.
Yeah.
Do you think the real guy listens? I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm wondering what Lord Dinkwater they're just thinking about right now.
Drink water, Tim.
Oh, that's disgusting. Anyway, Jake Byler chimed in on DeerCast. He said,
"Oh, it was on the Twitching Eye of Deer season. Who came up with the name of that episode?
It's hard to.
Was it Matt?
It's hard to know. It was me,
producer Matt. It was you.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I mean,
like a hurricane.
Usually your writing skills are just so, but this time you were." Mm-hmm. You had your eye on the target.
Hey, that's good. You should think about writing or talking.
Dead eye on this topic.
And here start the eye jokes. I did find some research on the internet that caffeine can...
You drink water, Tim.
This is not water. This is like one of ththose squirty flavor things.
I'd squirt a little less into it.
There's no caffeine in it.
Hold on.
That's what she said.
Lord Dinkwater brand water flavorings.
I just got I just got a notification that Drury Outdoors mentioned me in their story. That happens so very little.
Huh.
I'm going to have to check that out and see what
I
it's
think
about.
it's a rundown of top 10 failures from this season.
Sorry about the audio. Let's see. Hey, it's me. Oh, it's about Stanley.
Hey, check it out. Trigger action mug.
Hey, you know what? I've been using the crap out of mine. And then Forrest and Terry stole it.
Those jackasses.
Yeah. I told them they were going to get their own, but they have not yet, so they took mine. Yeah.
Oh.
But listen, our directions were leave on picnic table. So,
I mean,
could have gone anywhere.
Who knows? Someone driving by, think it's a garage sale happening. I put Campbell's Chunky Soup in my Bottomland trigger action mug on Friday.
Did you trigger it like the chunks come out of that trigger?
The broth? Yes. Once I got through the broth, then I cracked it open and I drank all
Slid her on down
the
that
goodies. Where else are you going to put it?
That's what she said.
All right, moving along.
Poor Jake Byler. He's been waiting for us to get to his comment here. He said, well, this show is more of a bring your fart show.
I didn't even know that was coming up.
But hey, sometimes you have to have a little humor to go through a grinding season, right? Good luck to you both this weekend as Missouri firearm season kicks off.
Well, guess what, Jake? I didn't have any luck this weekend.
And I had bad luck.
Let's start with your luck, and then we'll move on to my luck. You had good and bad luck. So.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag. A little bit of redemption, but the safe buck showed up. I took Friday off, and I packed a lunch. Like I was gonna sit all day. 7:15, a doe comes into the plot. And I'm like, oh,
plot thickens.
It did indeed. And so I start filming her, but as I'm filming her, I'm recognizing something is off with the picture on the camera. It's too dark. 7:15. It's still like early, but there's plenty of light to shoot. And I film her just the same. She feeds through. I take the camera down off the mount and I start toying around with it. It's flashing ND 116. Now I know that means neutral density filter. It's like a polarizing lens that goes down inside the camera to lower the brightness. You know this because you're in mass media.
All I know is that when it's blinking that, you move the button to the directions that it tells you to move it to. That's what I know.
Yeah, I wasn't getting that information. It was just flashing ND 116 and shooting everything really dark.
Yeah.
So I'm holding the camera, farting around with it, and then I hear some movement behind me because I'm standing facing the tree, and I crane my head over my shoulder here, and it's the safe buck standing at like 28, 30 yards.
Why didn't you say you owl your head?
Dead silent. I didn't go 360.
Oh, okay.
So I'm dying inside. I slowly, and my tree stand is right on the plot. A lot of the foliage is like the leaves that fall off the tree. There's not a whole lot of cover. And I slowly start putting the camera back onto the arm, snap it into position. I press record.
I mean, did that not make noise?
It made a little bit of noise.
And I'm sure it was dead quiet.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he continued to come. And good job. I was like, this is a miracle that he has not stopped moving my direction. So the camera's rolling. I start turning to get my bow, tap the Tacticam button. So it's rolling. I come back around. He continues to walk. He's getting closer, and he steps behind a tree. I come to full draw, and he holds up like halfway obscured by a tree. So I'm now at full draw. I got my pin on this deer I've been chasing for 2 years, and I just cannot believe it. Camera's rolling, and I'm on him, but he's still half obscured by the tree. Probably three quarters away exposed by the tree.
Your math isn't adding up. Hold on, I think I have a sound
Half,
for this.
3/4.
60% of the time, it works.
60% he was covered up.
Okay.
But I thought, like, I could feel myself convincing myself I can sneak this past the tree and I can hit him.
I know the Matrix. I can make this arrow do a curve.
I wish I could have. It was the stupidest thing. He was about to step out into an opening. I just needed to wait.
Tim.
And I could feel like the target panic and the like psychological build of you just put a good hit.
Anything.
You
I'm
just put a
Tim
good-
Chelsvik.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Look at me.
I'm a friggin'
Freak of
example.
nature. Exactly.
Well, and
Anyways.
the arrow glances off the tree trunk. Clean miss. The deer kind of hops into the wood line and just kind of looks around and then continues to like kind of follow the path that the doe took.
Never to be seen again.
He's startled. I don't think
sure
he
he was.
spooked, but he didn't. It was because I saw him. He was first I hear a metallic clang earlier in the season over here.
Yeah.
He just continued to follow the doe around. I saw like the closest he got was 40 yards, but it's so thick back in there. So he was still more concerned about the doe, but I could have died. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's
Safe buck
it's incredible. Rides
really
again.
lives up to his name.
I need to rename him like
My buck.
yeah, something that's a little more definitive.
Tim's mistake.
Let's not do that.
Dude, when I said that to you last year, never in a million years would I have thought.
He's got a force field around him.
I'm sorry. I don't know if
You
we
did
got this soundbite from from Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights.
Put this evil on me.
Put this evil on. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I'd hit it right now if I had it.
It was so crazy to see him so close, and the whole time I'm thinking, this could happen.
When you sent me that, we were messaging back and forth on Instagram. You were telling me about it. And that instant thought I had was our podcast where you were talking about the saddle deer you killed, where it's like, this is happening. This is going to happen. And I said, I'm a big boy. I thought instantly about that was probably running through your head. Like, this is going to happen.
Yeah. It was like, it's a done deal. But
I hate it for you, man.
just
really.
a reminder, there's no such thing as a chip shot in deer hunting. Never.
I prefer not to have the reminder.
Yeah, I'm the same here. I mean, it was early. I could have had tons of light for tracking and pictures, and I could have used my bow tag right
you
before the
were
start of
already
firearms
grilling
season.
his back
Yeah,
straps.
yeah, it's crazy. You get so far ahead of yourself, and then but it's like psychologically, it's good, I think, to get humbled every now and again because you get a little too big for your britches.
I know that feeling.
And but it's tough. Like it wears on you. And all weekend I kept playing that over and over in my head. I watched the footage. I was like, I just got to get comfortable with it. This is what happened. Lesson learned. A great reminder. I got to move on. I can't dwell on it. So now I can laugh about it. Friday afternoon, I was like, I need ulcer medication. I
want to
can't
give up.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you really feel like I don't deserve this buck. I don't deserve to kill him. I think I may quit deer hunting, may renounce my citizenship.
Just keep working on DeerCast for me.
Okay.
Don't do anything. Don't do anything rash.
I'll be like a conscientious
Observer.
No.
I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Moving along.
Both of us can't think of a word. We're professionals.
Yes.
So you're still. I mean, you've punched a tag. Like you've killed a deer
I don't
this
even
season.
count that though, because
I'm curious about that. Yeah. Talk about why.
it's a weird feeling, but that going out to Kansas and having success so early, I mean, that was in late September. I counted that tag as a bonus almost because I'd never been there, didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
If we killed, great. If we didn't, oh well, it wasn't going to affect my Missouri season
Kind of an
or
experiment.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Experiment. We killed. So Scott and I just were talking about this Sunday. It's like, all right, we're off and running early. This is going to be the best year. Scott's going to kill. I'm going to kill. I got 4
So
more
many
tags.
plans.
Ah, man. Look at us go. I'm the next Mark. Wah, wah.
Here we are, mid-November.
Dude. Well, little did I know. I mean, the deer that the landowner killed while I was in Kansas, that too made us think like this new lease is going to be awesome. Here he kills this giant early September and, daylight walking, and we have counted it up. We've hunted there 18 times, several full day hunts.
You guys alone, just you and Scott?
Just Scott and I.
Wow.
Aaron has hunted it probably 3 times, maybe 4. Doug hunted it twice. 3 times. He hunted with us. That was more of an MRI. He hunted once with Aaron, and then he hunted the night he killed. And he killed on September 22nd or something like that. So to give you an idea. So anyway, I just thought this season's going to be awesome. We're going to kill early in Missouri. We'll get Scott a deer. We'll go over to Illinois. It's going to
Kill and train.
It's going to be awesome. And my season has just sucked. There's no way around it. We've sat there 18 times in on the new lease and have maybe had 2 decent encounters. And when I say decent, I'm saying like we saw shooters, 3, sorry. And that's, and I'm saying like not within bow range. One of them was a 4-year-old that we passed that was a shooter. You know, he'll be a stud next year. I mean, so that's on me, but he shouldn't have been shot. He needed to be passed. So it was the right decision. So we saw a mature buck in that instance, but I'm looking for a 5-year-old or older, you know, realistically. And it's just not happening. We saw one once, we saw another one another time, but he was busted up and he was out in gun range. He wasn't even in bow range. And so was the first one. Well, so we have had enough. So I was like, you know what? Dad's begging me to come up to the farm for opening weekend of the firearm season in Missouri. And it's such a fun tradition. Yeah. I didn't do it last year. It's been a couple years actually, now that I think about it, because he had EHD hit and it's just like, you know what? The farm's in good shape. Let's go up there. You never know. Yapper, Dad's good friend. He was going to be there. Sure. Force is there, you know, and it's like, let's get a change of scenery. And so Aaron was like, I'm going to hunt the new lease for the weekend. I said, hey, absolutely. I was helping him. Here's the pictures we're getting. Here's where they're at. You know, we're communicating and, you know, so he was keeping me posted. His Saturday sounded like it just sucked. And, you know, I'm like, you know, we know how that goes. And, you know,
there, done that.
Exactly.
Son.
And we had a fantastic, I mean, we got there in enough time to hunt Friday night with our bow. Had it, you know, so 15, 20 deer, you know, we got in at like 4:00. We you know, got in late and instantly saw deer. Cool. You know, saw a 3.5-year-old chasing a doe all over the place. It was cool. And then Saturday there were 2 deer that were on the no shoot list that were 5.5s that were big deer. And 2 of them were on the no shoot list. And I got no problem with that. I mean, I'm just happy to be there. Right. And
just out of curiosity, what would Terry do if you shot one of those?
He'd be happy for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll go full circle with this story because he's invited me back. And so the first day of gun season, we see one of the 2 deer we're not supposed to shoot. 150, 160 yards. He's chasing bucks out. I mean, it was like buck parade. Scott was saying,
Scott showed me some of the footage.
Deer running everywhere. And it was awesome. I passed a really good, I think 5.5-year-old 8. That was a fantastic buck, but I was after a specific, he had 2 or 3 deer he wanted me to kind of hone in on. Okay. And so anyways, we saw the big buck, passed him, no problem. I didn't even think twice about it. You know, I was going to shoot, you know, whatever it was over there. And I said, Scott, you keep looking over there and I'm going to get the cameras on, gun ready, you know, all that stuff. And he's like, oh, it's, you know, it's so-and-so. And it's like, oh, wah, wah. So I put down the gun and, you know, and then we're just observing, which is cool. Next day, the other deer we're not supposed to shoot, we saw him and I'm like, crap, man, like what the heck is going on here? And he's a giant, you know, and really, I'm saying it would be one of my top 2 or 3 deer ever killed, you know, that kind of big. Yeah. And so was the first one. And it's like, okay, whatever, no big deal. So we didn't end up killing anything. And we were down in kind of a whole Sunday afternoons hunt. And so we didn't have any service. We come up out and my phone's just, you know, like I had like 20 something messages when I got up into service. Yeah. And some of it was, you know, Terry over where he was sitting. Some of it was Mark and his crew had some luck and, you know, it was being caught up to date. But one of it was Aaron. He's just like, I just crushed Squiggles. Squiggles is the one of like 2 or 3 deer we're chasing over the new lease. And, I'm, you know, trying to get, you know, where were you sitting? What were you doing? And
right where you told me, boss.
Exactly. And he said that he came out from the spot we go in to hang, to hunt a set that we hung. Yeah. And he shot him. and he went right back in and died right in front of our tree stand.
Good spot.
Yeah. We felt like he was in there because of all the sign or whatever. And we had, well, one morning, I think we talked about on the podcast, we walked in and this deer, I got trail cam pictures. He had walked in right before us, maybe an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
It was that deer. That was his area. Well, they don't come out. They're so nocturnal. They never come out in daylight. Well, a doe popped. You look at Aaron's footage in DeerCast on the kill. He's dogging that doe. Yeah. She popped out. He's following her. She moved into the timber. He ran her back out, and then he gets a quick bite to eat, and Aaron crushed him. I mean, hell of a shot. Died, 50 yards, whatever it was. And
sure.
So Squiggles is down.
There's one less shooter now.
Well, so Positive Matt is saying, you know what? Hey, maybe this is going to allow the really big deer to come back in, because we felt like this deer that Aaron killed was a bully. He was 100. He went 140 as an 8, but just real framey, cool deer.
Good looking deer, yeah.
Yeah, and big bodied. And we kept feeling like he was a bully. So I was like, hey, awesome. Maybe the other deer we're after is going to come back. And then that's when the landowner texted us, literally right in that same thread. And he's like, hey, bad news. The deer we're chasing, he showed up 1.85 miles away from us. He's over the neighbors, on the very far end of their property. They got a picture of him tonight or whatever. I'm like, son of a gun. Like this. So I went from, 2 or 3 good shooters to there's maybe one deer on that piece right now that I'd shoot. Yeah. And you never know what could show up. That's kind of the beauty of it.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of fun.
One deer vacates. You never know what might come and take the hierarchy of the social structure there.
Sure.
So that's where we're keeping our fingers crossed. So in the meantime, we have switched gears and we're going to focus back on the old lease. And there's a good deer there, and there's a couple decent bucks there actually. And so I can't go tonight, can't go tomorrow night. So Scott's going to head up, and I think Alan's going with him, and we're going to try to get him on a buck or two. So my season, that's where we're at right now.
Tough.
And to make it worse, so Sunday night, my wife's like, as I'm driving home, she's like, something's not right with Lola. She's feeling sick. Can you stay at home with her tomorrow? I'm like, that's fine with me. I got no deer to chase. I got nothing. My life is in shit.
I'll find meaning in parenting. Yeah.
So I wake up Monday morning and I got the stomach flu. And so I'm watching Lola, but poor dad is not doing a great job of it. She's watching me.
I'm in the bathroom, honey. Just let me be.
Yeah. So that was Monday and Tuesday. And then Tuesday, I was getting a new Cabela smoker delivered. Uh-huh. So I went to the garage to make room for it. I look at the deep freezer, and where the drain plug is at the bottom of the freezer, I see like a dried, like kind of a pool, like a brownish pool. And I'm like, oh no. So I open it up and it's totally thawed. Like the ice and all that stuff's totally thawed. And there's big, 3 inches of blood water at the bottom of it. And I'm like, son of a gun. So spend the whole time. We most of my deer meat's been gone. I'm out. And since I haven't killed anything this year, I donated the first one thinking I'm going to kill tons of deer this year.
Think again.
Yeah. So most of it was in what I had left was an overly dog. So it's prepackaged. It's deer meat. It's a deer dog, so it's prepackaged and all that stuff. And it was still cold, it was just thawed. So start giving that to people. We keep, we clean it off and all that stuff. And I unplug the freezer, clean it off, throw away. We had some beef in there, some cuts of beef, because we buy a quarter of a beef, every so often. And anyway, so I had to throw that stuff away, which is totally just like a kick in the pants. Yeah. And then to make everything worse, Cameron did a fundraiser like 2 months ago for school, and it was like cookie dough and pumpkin rolls and cheesecakes, all things that have to be kept frozen. It came in yesterday and had to be picked up between 4 and 6. So my wife goes to get it. It's his first ever fundraiser he did, and he was real gung ho. He sold like $800 worth of this stuff.
Go get her.
So my wife comes home with a trunk of I'm telling you, like a
Did she know the deep freeze was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm like, all right, we got to deliver this stuff now.
Go.
So we organized it all, and we're sending the kid. They're running through the neighborhood, and hardly anybody was home. Nobody's home. So I'm like finding places to try to put it, and we did it. But it's like the worst timing.
Yeah. You had like a week full of brown fluids.
Well,
in your deep freeze and
other deep areas,
other places. That's tough.
Yeah. Good part was glass half full. I lost like 6-8 pounds.
You look great.
I'm back down to summer weight.
That stubborn belly fat, it's gone.
Back down to that summer weight. Jeez. Now let's start working out again.
You just did a cleanse. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
a bacterial eat.
That was probably all too much information.
Right. People are tuning out. Surprised we haven't any fart noises. Good job.
I think I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. Sorry to anyone that's trying to eat lunch while they're listening to this show. Yeah. That's incredible.
So back at it for deer season. Now, so on the successful side of things, let's hear about you got your good friend, Melissa,
she's hunted for 20 years, and she's tried hunting public land, and she's tried some private land hunting, and like
this may be out of line, but isn't her husband an outfitter?
It's like when you are the wife of a contractor, everyone else gets their house worked on, but like when you think about inventory, you get what's left over or nothing.
Nothing in this case.
So it's not for lack of effort. She's tried hunting for years, and it's crazy. I mean, she would go out when she was a teenager, and she really wants. She tried turkey hunting, deer hunting. She really wants to be a hunter, wants to kill something, and just has not been able to do it over all these years. And it is hard. Like, you know, for a good chunk of that time, she was single. And so you think about like a single woman trying to figure out like the camo I need to buy, the weapons I need to buy, how do I access like a range? Where do I go that's relatively safe, that I don't have to worry about other people? And she's had her decoys shot out from underneath her.
Really? Turkey
hunting. Yeah. Just a lot of
scary.
Yeah. Public land in the Ozarks can be a little bit of a sketchy proposition. And so like I knew that I had some bucks around locally here, and I was like, if you want to come up and try to kill one with the crossbow, feel free to come on up. And it doesn't take away any inventory from their guiding. Yeah. From the people that are paying for these deer.
Yeah.
And so she came up, and she just like realized she killed. Like, I'll get to the point. She killed. She didn't bring a cooler because she would just
never kill anything.
Yeah. She was just expecting more of the same. So I did some scouting on Saturday. My scrapes had gone cold, and that's just what kind of happens this time of year. Leaves were covering them. They'd gone cold. The pictures weren't showing up. So I did a lot of hiking, and I found like some more hot scrapes, and I actually saw some bucks chasing does midday. And so I popped up a blind, and that was a Saturday. She was coming up Sunday night and then going to hunt Monday morning. It's in this it's almost like a bowl. It's in the back of a holler, and the wind is always really weird, but in the morning you can kind of count on the thermals to kind of pull up. And so I went to the back of this bowl, popped up the blind, and you've got a great view of kind of straight down the holler. So you see everything that kind of crosses, and we were set up on a point where the deer tend to cross. It was a muddy little trail. No one hikes back there because this is in it's West County, St. Louis. So you got hikers in Greensfelder County Park nearby. So there's definitely intrusion happening, but there were some hot scrapes and there were some rubs there. And I'd seen some deer when I was out walking on Saturday. Popped up a blind, and we got in, I don't know, around 6 o'clock, and saw a couple does passing through out of range. And she was only going to shoot a buck. She's killed a doe before. She really wanted to kill a whitetail buck. And about, I guess it was maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And she had never killed a buck before.
She's never killed a whitetail buck. Yeah. She was like, "Damn, there's a buck. There's a buck." And it's always amazing to me how everything just goes from 0 to 60. There's very rarely
hair on fire.
There's very rarely any in between zone. And this deer showed up because I really thought the bucks would come from the east. A bunch of does bed off to the west. And sure enough, he pops up down this trail that I'd kind of seen on this hillside. And it's probably 2.5-year-old 6-pointer, but I could see that's a rack buck. that would make a great first buck.
Yeah.
And the wind was kind of changing a little bit at that point, and we crushed all of our stuff, used nose jammer, and so like he could kind of tell something was up, and he was coming towards us, and he held up at kind of 50 and then walked in a little bit closer, got down to 40, and you turning all the cameras on and everything. I'm like, oh geez, this could really happen. And she's like, should I shoot? And I was like, no, we need to get I had the HHA platform on the Mission crossbow set up to like 25 yards. Like, no, we gotta dial in the yardage and everything on it. And that thing is shooting tacks. Like, I checked it the day before. It was really shooting well. So the deer kind of holds up at 40 some yards, is not quite sure he wants to commit to the trail. And I can tell he's thinking about walking away. He's hard quartering away, like really hard quartering away.
And this is in DeerCast. You can go watch it.
The whole hunt's in there.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's like, should I shoot? And I was like, yeah, you go ahead and shoot. And she takes the shot, and to my naked eye,
I thought she missed.
I thought she missed too.
So did you give her any, like, did you say, hey, since he's quartering hard away, aim back rib, or?
I wish I would have. Like in the moment, it was so quiet in there, and he was already so skittish.
Yeah.
I really should have, but I didn't, because when we went and recovered the deer, she actually hit him in the shoulder.
Which is crazy.
I mean,
the footage is deceiving. You just can't tell.
And we had to go back and review the footage. And it was only then that I was like, maybe you did hit this deer, because there's a point in the footage where you slow it down and you see the lighted knock against the dark hair of the deer.
Yeah.
And the only way that can happen with that angle is if it actually hit the deer. But it just skittered off. It looked like it deflected or just, went right in front of him. So I was trying to manage expectations there in the blind. She's like just completely going
That's
through
awesome.
herself. Can't believe that happened. Can't believe she saw a deer.
Upset or excited?
Excited.
Good.
Excited. She was more optimistic about the shot just because she got to, I don't think she's ever even taken a shot at a buck before.
Yeah.
So all that was very new.
Very exciting.
But I was trying not to, lead her on to think that, oh yeah, we got this, because it looked very sketchy. So did some stuff there in the blind, shot some stuff, and then I was like, okay, well let's check DeerCast track and let's go and just see what the bolt looks like, if there's any blood up there. I couldn't believe how much blood was on the ground when we got to the site. It was like someone just took a paintbrush and just splattered it.
Hit an artery.
I think it hit. So we did some forensics on it, and she's a nurse. Like the first thing she did when she got to the buck, instead of looking at the antlers, she was inspecting the wound. It's like most people don't do that. Most people are concerned about the antlers, but it glanced off its shoulder, and we're shooting the Rage 2.3 chisel no collar. It glanced off the shoulder, like lacerated the shoulder here. And then because the deer was quartering away, but looking back at us,
rolled it in enough.
It hit it in the neck, severed its trachea, and hit the carotid. And so it was not only blowing blood out, but it was like it wasn't getting all the air it needed. And I didn't know that it had blown the trachea out at the time. I was just like, Melissa, there's a ton of blood here, like a crazy amount of blood. I think this is a dead deer, but let's check track again, and let's just like take a breath.
Yeah.
And think about everything that's happened and kind of soak this in, and then kind of put a plan together. And we walked up on him. He stood up out of his, you don't see this in the DeerCast video. We gave him probably 40 minutes, and we got to him. He stood up.
Oh.
And he just stood there. Like,
did you have to put another shot in him? I wondered, because you do see a good, well-placed shot was on the other side.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys talked about it in the story. I didn't read the story, but that I was wondering myself.
We filmed it all, and so if we do something with it, like maybe it'll be if it makes a show, maybe we'll use that. But we filmed all that stuff. We got to within 20 yards, and he just wasn't he wasn't like in his right mind. He was just standing there, just kind of still surviving. And we wanted to, make sure he had the quickest exit possible. So she put a second bolt in him, and it dropped him, and he was done within a minute.
Yeah.
And then she had her first, after 20 years of hunting, she had her first whitetail buck.
Good for her.
And it was so cool to see. And it was emotional because, I mean, you think about just the roller coaster that we face.
Yeah.
But like, we've killed deer, and usually we're good for one or two or three, a few deer every year. Yeah. But think about just like the mental fatigue that comes with never having the payoff, always putting in the time, but never having the payoff.
You wouldn't want to keep doing it.
I wouldn't do that for 20. I would give up after like 1 or 2 years. But it's incredible. Like the people that were commenting on DeerCast, some guy said he was hunting for like 12 or 13 years before he killed his first deer. Deer hunting is so different in different parts of the world, and people have such different
expectations too.
Different expectations, and they have such different life circumstances. Maybe you're a single parent and you just don't, like, you can get out maybe once or twice. We're very fortunate, and I think it's a great reminder that there's a real wide diversity of experiences people have when they deer hunt. They approach it differently. They have different levels of success, and they have different metrics for success too. So I counted myself as privileged to be there to kind of see all this happen. It was so very gratifying. Yeah. So to go from like a Friday where I completely botched a hunt. Yeah. 100% knew better, screwed it up, to Monday to see this incredible success happen. And then we went back to the house and processed it all. And she was in there like doing all the processing and taking all the guidance. She really wanted to have the full experience.
Good for her.
And so she left with a big cooler full of deer meat. And
pretty awesome.
It was, I couldn't have it just could not have turned out better.
So she took your cooler.
That's right. Oh, maybe it wasn't so awesome.
So
then.
she's full-time nurse. Is that right? Mm-hmm. She's a mother of 5. And I can't imagine how busy she is. And her husband has an outfitting service. What's the name of that?
Devil's Backbone Outfitters.
Yeah. And so how busy he is during the season. So, and she came up already once, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Both those guys came up. We went to the Tracy Lawrence concert and they hunted, and she saw a spike when we were hunting and she passed on that. So she had she kind of knew what the kind of the bare minimum of what she wanted.
Yeah. Good for her.
We demasked the skull, and she's probably going to do a Euro mount of that deer. And, it's another great reminder, like, it's not a huge deer by any stretch, but that doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's a trophy.
It's a trophy.
And she's probably going to cherish those antlers in a way that just very few people can appreciate.
Not to mention, I think I saw in her post, the food aspect of feeding her family. Yeah. She's pumped about that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we had one of the tenderloins that afternoon as kind of a celebration. Nice. And the other awesome thing is like I'm so used to killing deer at nighttime, like at last light, and it sucks. Like it sucks.
All the work you go 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Yeah.
So we're taking pictures at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Pretty pictures too.
The woods there was nice cloud cover. The woods were beautiful. Yeah. It just could not have turned out better.
That's awesome.
So it was a nice cap to a long weekend.
Well, congratulations to her and good for you, buddy. Heck
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So like now it's Sophie's turn. Like Sophie's got Sophie. She's kind of like, I offered to take her out a couple times over the weekend. She wanted to play with her gal pals. So I was like, I'm not going to push it.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe you and I will have some more success to share in
upcoming
episodes.
At this point, I hope I get to talk about Scott or Alan, or I'm sure I am honestly like at the low end. So it's like, all right, let's reshuffle. Let's refocus on what matters here.
I can't say like if I had the choice between me killing like my target deer or seeing someone like Melissa take a deer like that, I would still rather see me have success.
Hey, honesty is the best policy.
No, it's a tie. It's a different level of appreciation, and it makes you just remember like how fortunate we are to get to do this and to see these things happen and to be a part of it.
So this past weekend, my wife, there was a girls' like weekend. Mom and Dad have a place out like those Ozarks. And so every year, I don't know why they do this, but they plan a girls' weekend
during hunting season,
during for the Missouri firearm opener. So anyways, she goes down there, and we had to get the kids to her mom's was going to watch it or watch the kids over the weekend. So anyways, I was planning on hunting on Friday, and turns out I didn't hunt for Friday morning, and I took the kids down there, and
Crap.
I'm not going to say how that went down, but it didn't go well for me. And she's like, your sister say you owe me. And I'm like, those rags. My own family's turning on me. Well, to go full circle on the stories, last night we have a family text group thread or whatever. And my mom sends a meme, or a meme, as Chris Comstock calls them.
Like, ironically or for real?
She sends this.
No, Chris.
Oh, no, I think for real.
Oh.
And it's a picture of Ricky Bobby. And it says, "Dear sweet baby Jesus, please let my husband shoot a deer so we can get on with our lives." And Dad replied, "Not funny." and everybody's laughing. Everybody's having a good time. So I replied with the meme of Homer Simpson just like fading away into the bushes.
shrubs.
Yeah.
Yep.
My wife didn't respond at all. So
That's weird. Wonder why.
yeah.
When I killed my deer, Beth's like, "Oh, so great, you killed." I was like, "I got 2 more tags. Like, I got 3 buck tags from Missouri this year."
I technically have 4 tags in my pocket. 2 in Missouri,
Rolling.
2 in Illinois, and I'd be lucky if I killed 1.
Best laid plans.
Oh my! I just want it to all go away.
Yeah, I feel you. So
Here's the turkey season.
I posted. This has been posted in DeerCast before. I republished it last week or so.
Yeah.
An open letter to anyone having a crappy deer season.
Kick me sign on the picture.
Yes.
on your back.
It would probably be helpful. Like, if you're having a tough season, give that a read. Like, just search for keyword crappy in DeerCast. That'll be one of the things that pops up. And it's
Next to it's a picture of me.
definition. It's tough. But I don't think there would be the draw to deer hunting there is unless there was a downside. There can't be the upside unless there's a downside.
Yeah.
Like, Team Matt is nothing without Team Tim, and vice versa.
Okay. You know what?
Full circle.
Last year was such a good year. I can't complain whatsoever.
Yeah.
I killed 2. Scott killed 1. We got Nolan, my nephew, on 1. It was a great year. I got no complaints. So if we have a tough one this year, so be it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they all, you just never know from year to year.
Honestly, a lot of it this year, I've missed a lot of the great DeerCast days. I've hunted a lot, but it's
Stupid
like
family.
when I can hunt, and there's just been family obligations, and I swore I wouldn't miss them, and I haven't missed them. So
I made a promise to myself this season to try to make an intentional effort to enjoy this season of time. Like, hunt hard, but also not kill myself. Go do stuff with the kids. Go camp out. Like, do stuff with, like, take friends out hunting, even though it means me maybe not filling my tag during that day. Just try to enjoy the camaraderie and everything.
You're doing great.
It's been a much more balanced season, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to take a page out of your book.
yeah. Make sure that's the only book that you take a page out of. I'm not sure I'm doing life well in other areas. But our buddy Eric is interested in kind of our tactics in terms of scent.
All right. Well, the question of the day is proudly brought to you by Tacticam. Share your hunt. Speaking of tactics, how is the Tacticam footage on Melissa's kill?
Tacticam saved us because I mounted one to the loophole scope.
Yeah.
And it caught where the deer traveled, because he did like a big U shape. Like, he went up the hill and then he went down the hill. And that's footage I couldn't get on my big camera from my angle.
Yeah.
So the Tacticam was really nice to kind of, when you watch the hunt, you can see it. When you piece it in, it kind of completes the picture after the shot, because you see more of where he goes.
Good for her for holding it on then, because usually, I mean, that, once you shoot, it could be looking at the ground, the sky,
blind. Yeah. So it was nice to have that. And it's such a cool, like, when you mount it that close to the shot, you get such a neat kind of arc of the trajectory of the bolt with, the lighted knock on it and everything. So it's just a really nice additional angle to have.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was cool.
All right, let's hear what Eric's got to say.
Hi guys, this is Eric from Michigan. I just wanted to start by saying I love the podcast and really all the media content that you guys do.
Eric.
Try to watch and listen to everything that I can. My question is about using scent attractants in the woods, specifically doe and estrus. what time of the year, what phases of the running activity you like to use them in. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you.
You're welcome. Eric, if you hear this and you want to redeem your DeerCast hat, just shoot me a message with your mailing address.
I saw a little Kurt was, he said something on Instagram about the guy who left the question, should have got a hat for that because it was about working class.
We'll send him a working class hat.
Yeah, you send a hat, Kurt.
Yeah, we're not made of hats. So I am kind of a minimalist when it comes to scents.
Yeah.
And like I've had experiences in the past. It's not so much bucks. It seems like does tend to be the most skittish around other kinds, like urine-based attractants and scents. So like I'll use the Dopey spray and I'll like freshen up scrapes and stuff with it. But that's about the extent of scent that I'll put out. So
I've been using a little more the last 2 seasons. I've been trying the Buck Bomb. They have a Dopey. They have
that's what I've been using,
and they have a Doe and Estrus one, I believe, as well. And I don't use it a ton, but say we put a doe decoy out. Say it's an afternoon hunt, and we're sitting in a big field, and we put a doe decoy out, and I'm talking like pre-lock. Buck parade, like probably phase 5, 6, 7, like in that range.
And we should probably say these are phases. Like if people are new to the show, maybe new to Jury Outdoors, Mark and Terry broke in deer season down into 13 different phases that all have their unique ways of hunting them and unique characteristics.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and all that's in DeerCast. And so when I look at, basically I'm trying to, and look, I'm just learning it from Mark and Terry and trying to put it into use. But basically, I think of it like, all right, if there's a mature buck looking for the first available doe, maybe this would work, so phase like 5-ish, I start kind of toying around with that stuff and putting a decoy out, trying to buck in a doe decoy and, trying to play off the fact that the most mature buck in the herd isn't going to like another buck in there with a hot doe, basically. Yeah. And so doe and estrus I might break out and use. But in scrapes, like you said, I've been using that Buck Bomb, Dopey, and they have a few different ones for bucks as well. I forget the name of them off the top of my head, but I start using it around those couple 3-4 phases. Okay. And that's about it. Honestly, after that little period's over, like right now we're in desperately seeking. So that means first, those mature bucks, they're already done with their first doe. They're desperately seeking their second doe. And I mean, I'm seeing it, on cameras, when they're frantically kind of looking and, doing some odd things. We had a shooter move yesterday at 4:15. It was warm as warm could be right through a food plot. He's by himself. He's looking. Well, that morning he was on the other side of the property going through the timber looking, so they're kind of in that pattern right now where you can kill them, but the next pattern is called the party's over. And that's kind of like, they're done. They got their next doe and they're kind of just petered out, right? They're just, you're not going to see them. So anyways, those are the kind of the general range that I've been trying to use it in. I don't really use much of it without the decoy. If there's a scrape kind of on the food plot or a tree coy I got out, maybe I'll put it in the scrape. And other than that, I haven't used it a ton. Now I know plenty of guys that do and have great success with, the ones that you can put and hang, hang on a limb close to it. I've never tried that stuff.
Sure.
So
the morning I saw the safe buck, I had a Buck Bomb with me and I felt like I was popping smoke or something. Yeah. I got to the edge of the food plot and I'm always careful not to walk into the center where I think they're going to walk through. Yeah. And I just, hit the, depress the little button there that just fires it off. And I threw it over my head over kind of in the center of the plot near the brush pile. And it just went while I climbed up my tree.
Pull the pin with your teeth.
I should have. That would have been cool. I was going to ask you.
Mouth would have smelled like Dopey.
Do you find because this is true for me, the Buck Bomb irritates the skin under my arms.
I've never used it as deodorant, so I don't know.
Okay.
It's just you. I think you're supposed to put it in the field or on a tree or in a scrape or. You're using it
That
wrong.
makes
Tim.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense. It smells horrid. Makes my shirt smell horrid too.
You smell horrid.
Huh.
All right.
It smells like onions and broccoli up in here. As you
Smells
take a
like your
big-
lunch.
which I've already eaten.
Yeah.
All right, the wildlife word. It is brought to you by Hunter Specialties. Outfit yourself with the same calls that Mark and Terry use by getting all 3 components of the DoD signature series.
Let me tell you, I'm using them.
Yeah, same here.
Desperate
Same
to see
here.
a deer. So I've used them a lot.
I hit that doe bleed a couple times Monday morning before that buck show. It's funny how you you just kind of think about you think about the hunt after the fact. You start putting facts together, because I think I saw the buck that Melissa shot as I was driving in. Like, he was out in a field, and I didn't think about that until last night.
Yeah.
So just a lot of debriefing to do. So it's another multiple choice. I have whitetail does can breed their first year of life, but at what age do bucks start breeding? Is it A, 0.5 years, B, 1.5 years, C, 2.5 years, or D, 3.5 years old?
I'm going to go with B, 1.5.
You are right. Nice job.
Hey, well, thanks, Tim.
18 months old, and they're out there living their best life.
I'm a man.
Yeah, I guess so. 18 months, and they're ready to roll.
That's right. Doesn't take
It's a good
much.
life.
It's called nature, Tim.
Oh, is it?
They have a need.
For
Yeah, let's just move along.
breeding. A need to breed.
I got a need to breed. I like it.
I wish you'd stop saying that around the office. It's off-putting. It serves no purpose.
No, it does not. Duly noted.
Speaking of serving no purpose,
Hold it.
You and your mom are hillbillies.
Continue.
can't disagree. Episode number 237.
Is that what we're on right now?
That's next week.
Oh, I see. Maybe we'll have a guest by then.
Possibly.
Look, guys and gals, here's the real deal.
Listen,
We're in the thick of deer season, and I just haven't reached out to anybody to be on this podcast because I'm just trying to kill a deer.
we're kind of trying to keep our heads above water, because
Yeah.
nothing slows down. In fact, things
Well,
accelerate.
the app is, there's a billion things to do with the app. We're not going to say they're good or bad, but there's a lot of things to do with the app.
A lot of the things that need to happen.
Everything else is starting to take care of itself a little bit as far as like the team and, kind of have that. Bush, you take care of a lot of that because of DeerCast and the journal entries coming in. So,
Sure.
But it's gotten, I think, streamlined a little bit this year. So there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, but if folks are still kind of wondering, like, what tactics should they be using right now, a great place to go is the DeerCast main feed, because then you get to see like all the journal entries from our team. They're talking about their kills. They're talking about what tactics they're using, like in the moment right now, for what's working. We just had a few guys come in with decoy kills.
Not only that, but the understanding your DeerCast. So if you click your hourly,
Yep.
and then you can see a understanding your DeerCast, like a triangle that you click just below the hourly graph on the lower right.
Yep. In the
click
business, we
that.
call it a carrot button.
A carrot, and then Mark and Terry and a bunch of videos pop up, and you can scroll left to right through those videos, and they'll teach you a little bit about that phase and how the weather affects the deer, different variables of weather, different things going on during that part of the season. So
Yeah, it's all part of the educational aspect of DeerCast.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to just help you get your deer. We want to help you understand the why and understand the methodologies.
to be honest with you, so the very first video is the most important in my opinion.
Yeah, tactic
And
breakdown.
when I'm like really struggling, so I've done this quite a few times this season, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I watched that video.
Yeah.
And it's kind of an all-encompassing breakdown with every tactic for that phase and what you could do and what you could try. And it is helpful.
And I've been trying to post those to the main feed as that phase is coming. But
Yeah.
like, if you're in the South, it's not going to line up exactly.
Yeah.
But
But it
yeah,
would in your
yeah.
understanding your DeerCast.
Exactly.
It'll line up because it's going off your peak estrus dates, which I feel like not everybody fully understands that all the time. But basically, peak lockdown, think of it from a perspective of when the majority of the deer are breeding.
Yeah.
That's the peak estrus. So for most of the Midwest, it's kind of November 12th through the 14th, kind of in that general area. But obviously when you travel to other parts of the country, that's when it changes a lot. So we had a question that I was responding to in the Rack Pack about his peak estrus.
Yeah, would it matter if it was off by a week?
Well, because he was, I forget the date he said, but it surprised me because I think he was in Ohio. So I just went, I asked him where he's hunting, city or whatever, what he had put in, and I put it into mine, and the peak estrus was automatically set to November 14th. So if he had it different, he would have changed it and customized it himself.
Yeah.
Well, that then slides the whole phase scale, left or right, depending on, date range wise, depending on where you have your peak estrus set.
It's important. Yeah.
So it will change the results you're getting for your DeerCast prediction. So anyways, if you don't know what your peak estrus is, call your local DNR or talk to an agent or, your friends, what you guys get together or gals, figure out what you feel like, peak breeding is. And that's the date you want to use.
Yep.
So,
yeah. It's not your personal peak estrus.
Can't have every day.
No. So episode number 237, it's going to be a barn burner.
We don't know what's going to be in it, but it'll happen.
Nope, it will.
We haven't missed one yet.
No, we're like clockwork. We may not be good, but we're consistent.
Right, twice a day too.
That's true.
Or is it once a day?
Well,
once a day.
Twice.
I don't know. Let's keep moving on.
Sayings, who knows where they come from. Well, yeah, we should probably shut this one down.
You suck, Matt.
If folks do want to hop into the Rack Pack on Facebook, just search for 100% Wild Rack Pack. And
honestly, I enjoy it. I know I don't comment in there a lot, but I do read all that stuff. And I love when somebody poses a question and other Rack Packers are in there helping out. Like, it's so cool to see.
Yeah, it's a little community going.
Yep.
We like it.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, hopefully you're having a great season. If not, hang in there. Things can change in a heartbeat.
And that's hopefully what's going to happen to me.
Heck yeah.
All right. Until next time, be safe, identify your target. Peace out. Temperatures are going to be dropping. Perfect conditions for the skinny field. Got to focus on those afternoon hunts. Northwest Tree Stand, 5 p.m.
It's the easiest decision you'll make this season. Get ahead of your game with DeerCast.
Oh, Dad killed that. No, he's in Illinois. He killed that big 8 with the 15-inch G2s.
Whoa.
He says, I'm freaking jacked. Wow. Pre-roll's a 10. He's a 7-point this year, but I don't care. LOL. And then Mark replied, and I can't say what he said. And then this deer, we were at Dad's. I literally I'm like, where's the sheds? Because they got these sheds. Let me show you. Dad had an encounter with this deer this morning. And he's like, he came back because I just asked about the sheds because we were at deer camp there. Look at the sheds on this thing.
Oh.
And he had 15-inch G2s.
My gosh.
Yeah. Crazy.
Jeez.
So anyway, I just asked about him. I was like, has that deer not showed back up? He's like, we haven't gotten one picture of him. They found his sheds during turkey season. And then this morning he showed up. Dad's like, dude, this deer, we just had an encounter with him.
Holy
he was
crap.
a ways off. And then he came back through, apparently. How awesome is that?
That's really cool.
Breaking news right here.
Man, that's a tag.
That's tag.
Boom.
Boom.
Roasted.
Roosted. It's roasted. How about it, Scott? It's going to turn around any minute. We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's.